Gracious Creator, we come before you with gratitude for our country, asking for your blessings upon this land and its people. May peace and understanding flow through our communities, uniting us across our differences and reminding us of the strength we share together. Guide our leaders with wisdom, integrity, and compassion so they may serve with justice and humility. Help us, too, to embrace kindness and respect in our daily lives, to care for one another, and to lift up those in need. May we build a future rooted in love, hope, and the values that honor each and every life. Amen.
Thank you, Charlie. Hello, my name's Ron Vroman. I'm the old white man talking head for the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. What I'm talking now is opinion, conjecture, without a predominance or a preponderance of evidence. But it's something that I'm pretty damn sure of, but I just can't prove it right now. That's part of the reason that I'm making this recording, is to let the people know that are doing us a disservice by the way they're acting. And how do you do it politely or politically correct? Damned if I know. So I'll just say what I have an opinion on. The grand jury heard from our court that the sheriffs on Oregon did not have a proper oath. Not only did they not have a proper oath, they have not fulfilled the requirements by the DTSSP or the DSTTP, whatever, and the HR requirements for their county. Sheriffs have to do a lot of things and they have to be involved in a lot of different places, and it has to be done properly. That's why they wrote it all down. And we take everything that's written down and read it and tell the sheriffs you do not have a proper oath to the proper constitution with the laws of nature and nature's God included. You do not. And they acquiesce to that. 7, 14, 21 days, 3 times in de jure. In common law, they have acquiesced, and well over 30 days in the de facto. And all the people have been notified. So it is accepted fact and no longer an opinion that the sheriffs on Oregon occupying the office of sheriff are not lawful and legitimate. That's a fact. It's my opinion that they know it. It's my opinion that a sheriff in Southern Oregon that met with our court this morning and accepted the papers and had a long conversation with our court has done that before. He's spoken with us and agreed that he needs to learn more and wants more information. And I think that's not true. I think he's disingenuous. I think he's obfuscating. That's just part of it. He's also one of the sheriffs that was in Bend that required us to leave. 6 of us were there. We bought 2 memberships. We bought lunch. We were ready to engage with the Oregon Sheriff's Association at their annual convention in Bend. 6 of us. And they came and said, "You have to leave." And they went and got a manager that said we had to leave. And so we left. And the sheriff in Southern Oregon was part of that. And the former sheriff that was acting for the association, when I said, "Is that the decision of the board of directors?" And he says, "That's the decision of all of the sheriffs. All of the sheriffs make up the board of directors." Okay. So my opinion is they all had an opportunity among several to speak and discuss with us, men and women, look you in the eye, talk facts, talk business, talk de jure, de facto, not waving any flags or tooting any horns, beating any drums, doing the work, driving several hundreds of miles to see you and talk to you, and we failed because of you, the sheriffs on Oregon. So one of them met with us. I immediately sent him an email. And I know it gets through because the ones that don't come back blocked. So it got through. And I called and left a message. So that got through. We'll see if he returns the information that Mike sends him. I think he's just biding time. Instead of ignoring us, he comes out and talks to us and he listens more than once. Phil's talked to him more than once. And we get the same thing: talk, no action. So that's what's going on with the sheriffs, in my opinion, on Oregon. And we now have 6 out of 36 served. It's a long and tedious process to find remedy, to actually do the work. And that's something that the rest of this is about, is opinion on those that know and don't do the work. When we first started our assembly, we got hooked up with Jim Wright's group, and we did what we were told to do by them to become an assembly. And they had 42 when we joined them. Hot damn. And then it all fell apart. Okay. And so they started rebuilding. By then, most of us in our assembly had abandoned those people. I abandoned Jim when he sent out an email to the whole world, and it was wrong. He didn't even know the nomenclature or what he was talking about, and he sent out an email to the whole world that was wrong. I pointed it out to him, and another guy pointed it out to him, and he didn't correct it. So we know Jim Wright's full of shit. So then, along the way, we hear about people that are doing what we're doing. One of the first ones I heard about was National Liberty Alliance. Fellow running that was John Darash. But on Oregon, we had some strong people that really knew what they were doing. And we were supposed to be organizing grand juries on every county and getting to every sheriff on every county, because they knew then, that was what, 2014, that's where we had to come in. And so NLA was doing that. And then all of a sudden they decided instead of doing that, they were going to teach people how to operate a grand jury. Big course on it. Costs you a few bucks. Lots of study, lots of work, seminars. And it's wrong. And I had a conversation with him on the air, and he was gracious enough to talk to me. And he won't correct. I don't know why. Then Jim Wright left his outfit, and they took on a new one, operating it. But there's two women that actually run the show, and I like both of them. They've been pretty straight with us. They've given us some good information. But they can't get it corrected. And they're now teaching also, not doing, but teaching. Okay. Then there's a guy named Rod Class, private attorney general. When I was heavy into PAG, they were taking him to task in DC, and he won. Good for him. But he's operating a business, teaching people how to deal with the de facto. That's like playing not to lose when you should be playing to win. That's where it's at. It's going for the constitutional Republican form of government, Article 4, Section 4, now, not sometime in the future after you train up some more people. It only takes 5 or 6 on each one of the several states to do the work, and that's what has to be done. So then we look at some other folks. If I say anything bad about Anna, she will definitely come on and do her best to put me down. So I'll just have to take that into consideration. But she teaches wrong. And Destry, he teaches wrong. And Sandy and Tim and Dave, you all teach wrong. And David Straight is a criminal for what he does. It's wrong. And Richard, Sheriff Richard Mack, you're bogus and you're wrong. And really good people I know have abandoned the work to return to a constitutional Republican form of government to earn a living, doing the business of helping folks that are crosswise with the de facto. A guy named Destry sent me an email saying that no, he did not want to have a conversation with me. And a guy named Tim did have a conversation with me. And a woman that works for him named Sandy. And a man named Dave that works with him. Talked with all of them. None of them call me back and discuss it. I wonder why that is. Occasionally I get an email, but no action. Now, taking action is what you have to do. A guy sent me an email. No, that's wrong. A guy posted on Substack directly at me on what we are doing. And we don't teach. It's up to you to figure it out on your state, and we'll help you all we can. But you got to learn it and you have to do it. And we're not in the teach mode, we're in the do mode. Our court, that's 4 in our jury pool, in our grand jury pool, that are authorized to be members of the court. I think we have 16 now. We have space for 12 clerks, and any 4 of us makes a court as long as one of them's a clerk. And our court visited 2 more sheriffs in Southern Oregon. Hundreds of miles driven today to do the work. And the guy said, well, you just file papers. That's all you do. Oh, is it? Well, think about it. File the papers? Yeah, the paperwork has to be done. It's just like going to the toilet. You have to do the paperwork. So we do the paperwork. And it's on the internet. And it's on our website. The Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly, Article 1, Section 1 on Oregon. Article 3, Original Jurisdiction, Civilian Court of Record. In Amendment 7, as the value is over $20, there's no judge involved. The jury makes the decision. And that jury met in front of the Marion County Courthouse in Salem, Oregon, and convicted 36 sheriffs. It's on the internet. That's doing something. It's recorded. It was on 3 cable TV channels. Thank you, William. That's doing something. That's not blowing a horn, waving a flag, or having another seminar, or writing a half a page on Substack, or blowing off your mouth on a weekly call, RD. This is actually doing the work. So then 12 people met in those 2 tents with good signage. Thank you, William. It was not like we were hiding or it was secretive. And we had 21 people and we needed 12. Thank you. We had people electronically connected also. Thank you, William. So, just like Anna, who wrote a whole page several times, that I would have to rebut everything that she wrote or acquiesce to it, which we won't do, and I won't do. And remember, this is opinion. If there's any facts that dribble into this, it's because they are facts. So the guy says it's just not what you say. You pick out little things and you say them and you knit together a picture. And he knitted together a page and a half of a picture of us. Has the state of Oregon seceded from the federal government of the United States? At least he got United States right, but it's not the United States. It's the United States of Washington, District of Columbia, Inc. That's who's in charge back there. It's not the United States. The United States was put on the shelf in 1861. Got it? Because then he says sovereignty. Is Oregon sovereign? Only from extension. The people are sovereign. Bouvier Law Dictionary, 1856. The definition of sovereign is me and you. It's also kings and queens and governments. So Oregon becomes sovereign among all of the states and nations on earth only after the people on Oregon create Oregon to be sovereign, because we are sovereign. However, that only makes it equal. It doesn't make it superior. All of the several states, the 33, have to make the United States of America. By further extension, they create a sovereign entity of a union. Then, by further extension, the union makes up a service company named the United States, and it's located on a 10-mile square called Washington, District of Columbia. They lost their 10-mile square. They've had multiple wars. They have not been able to get it together for even 1 minute since 1861. They do not have anything but play pretend de facto governance. And the people that are supposed to be doing something about it, let's name some names: John Darash, Anna von Ritz, Destry, B.L. Wood, Marilyn, Phyllis, Jim Wright, R.D., and all of the 50 coordinators on the 33 states and 17 territories that are members of Anna's group notified all of them. They all know, not one rebuttal. You talk to them, they don't want to talk the second time, because if they do, they have to admit that what they're teaching is wrong. You can't get there from where you guys are getting to come here. They say on their websites, internationally recognized. Do you comprehend that the only sovereign people in the whole wide world are located here? Canada's full of subjects. So is Europe and South America. They either have a communist dictator or they have a strongman dictator or they have a religious dictator or a king or a queen. We're the only ones that got a shot at it. The Aussies gave back their guns. The Brits don't want anybody to have one. But boy, they sure knifed the hell out of people over there. So what we're talking about is you folks that are teaching those in your groups that I was told, and don't you be contacting our people and tell, I'm not contacting your people. The people that want to be with us, they come find us somehow. And we're only doing Oregon, so it's none of my business what you guys do on the other states. But you can't even support what you put on your website. Do you fail at the first? Boy, there it goes. The old man memory. Does it fail at the first? It's not error, but it's close to error. Defect. There you go. Well, all of you have defected websites. I've debunked them all over the place. And you don't come back other than to say, you're not welcome here. And they won't let me on a phone call with their people. So you folks that are teaching, Rod, Michelle, Jules, James, John, Ron, Destry, Dave, Marilyn, Phyllis, Richard Mack, and on and on and on. Paul, several Pauls. You guys gotta start doing something other than what you're doing. You have to take action. And there's nobody that's taking action except Oregon. Now, why in the hell is that? I don't know. People want to get angry with me because I'm too hard, too brusque. I'm an old candy ass. I get emotional and tear up. But when we were talking to the sheriff's office in Clackamas the other day, and I don't hear well at all, and he's got an inch thick glass between us with a tiny little hole, and we're supposed to have a conversation. I was talking loud and I was saying all kinds of stuff, but I wasn't cursing and I wasn't being rude. I was being tremendously forceful and very much to the point. And the sheriff's office is my enemy. They have to be. 114 years without a proper oath. Do you think it's inculcated in their being to be lawful? Hell no. The sheriff and all the deputies know. All cops know who the bad cops are. But if you stand up or speak up, you don't get backup. So they all close ranks in their thin blue line around the bad cops. That's misprision of felony. And they do it, every single one. Opinion. There's 3,000 sheriffs, plus or minus, plus. And all of them sell concealed carry permits. There's a Second Amendment. It says, shall not infringe. To sell me a permit so that I can carry a gun is infringing upon my Second Amendment rights. My unalienable right to protect myself, my family, and my property against criminals like the sheriffs and their deputies on Oregon. There's no way around that fact. It's not an opinion. It was done October 21st, after several years. And it's coming up with the folks that are teaching all of us that have had since 1947 varying amounts of MK Ultra applied to us. And all of you folks know who you are that are teaching the rest of us misinformation. A guy the other day that should know said, Article 1, Section 1, what's that? And he's a guy that has gotten, what was it? 8 governments to recognize his paperwork, and The Hague recognized him, and the Bank of Universal Settlements. No, it's the people on your state that make a representative form of government, because there's not one state that has a proper form of government. So each state has to enact Article 1, Section 1, and they have to do it relatively soon. Today's the 4th. On the 5th, they have an election. All hell's supposed to break loose, and they're supposed to shut down the internet and turn off the lights and who knows what the hell all. That's all fear-mongering crap. I'm just fine, and so are you. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, quit teaching misinformation, and form your social compact and do the work. And you can find us at www.orsja.org. And my phone number is 503-641-8375. And like Arnie used to say, 24/7. Ciao.
They do not want to let go of this. They do not intend on losing here. And we do not intend giving it back to them.
And then the bullets started flying. Then he jumps out of the car. And he's got both his hands up. And he got out of the car, and he had his hands in the air. He's like, just shoot me then. This is what you want, just shoot me. And they did. They shot him dead. With his hands in the air, and I saw it. I swear to God. He was just walking with his hands in the air. And they shot him. And they shot him dead, and then after he was down on the ground, they shot him 3 more times.